Hello. We are at our final principle, number 7. Children need to be enjoyed. Now, these principles develop from our work with families, and we know when we walk into a family whether that principle is intentionally being played out or if it is not. So, this children need to be enjoyed. What's your thoughts? Where did that come from for you?
Well, the first thing, I'd like to say on the matter is this is a need. This is a principle. It's going to work in your family regardless. Either it's going to work positively for you, you're going to be intentional about it, or it's going to work against you if you're unintentional. That's not really true. There's probably some middle of the road here where people hit it just naturally, a balance. But it is a need of the child to be enjoyed by their parents. And we use the word need very intentionally. I do not believe there is a substitute for a child being enjoyed by their parents.
Now, the research talks a lot about how the parent is the child's mirror on who they are as a person, not that they're good at sports or this, that, or something else. And it really starts at infancy, at birth, when that little baby is handed to mom, and the baby's all red and squalling and stuff, and mom says, "Oh, aren't you so sweet? Aren't you so beautiful or handsome?" or however they describe it. And it starts there. And then, the next thing you know, the baby's got a dirty diaper, a wet diaper, and mom is like, "Oh, aren't you so cute?" And they change the diaper, and it's a pleasurable experience, and the feeding and all of those things that mom is putting into that child through her eyes, her words, her body language is, "You are lovable."
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I am enjoyed by this person.
Yeah, which makes me at least valuable to that person.
And this need doesn't go away.
No.
As human beings, we're going to have this need to be enjoyed by another, to be appreciated by another for our whole lives.
Yeah. Can you imagine dating someone and you have the perception they don't enjoy you? It's like, how long would that...
As a matter of fact, I've experienced that.
All right, no dating history on this one, or therapy. So we do have that, we want to be, need to be. Our sense of self comes from that relationship.
Yeah. It becomes the ability to be enjoyed becomes a central building block to who and what we are. We crave it. We are social beings. We crave that experience of looking in someone else's eyes and seeing a reflection of ourselves as enjoyable. And we're going to go to great lengths to get it.
Yeah. So maybe our audience is even saying, well, this just seems natural. Of course I enjoy my kids. And they provide this list of ways that they do it. But for a matter of fact, we have seen families who do not enjoy their children.
Well, it's in today's world, I don't think it's a given anymore.
No.
For better or worse, mostly worse, we've allocated a lot of the value that we have as parents to other organizations. Is it a dad's job now to teach a child how to throw a baseball, or is it a coach somewhere? Is it his job to teach that? We work very long hours. Americans work very long hours, lots of overtime, lots of exhaustion. Minimized time. Both parents are working outside the home frequently. All of these things, they get in the way of that thing that you just described as natural. It should be just natural to enjoy your children.
Well, I'm going to get on my soapbox here for a minute, and it's not just work. There's those electronics. How many times have you been to the park and you watch a parent on the electronics, or you walk into a room and everybody's sitting there on their phones, and the inability even that's showing up on having relationships. Those relationships are, what did you post on Facebook today kind of thing.
A lot of things are vying for our attention, our enjoyment, if you will. And everything that competes against our children, it's not always easy to do the things that set up those experiences of enjoying our children.
Well, I was going to say, here's your chance to do how intentional you have to be.
Absolutely.
At this.
The first thing you have to do is you have to figure out a way to do it. How do you enjoy your kids?
There has to be a mesh between you and your kids.
Mm-hmm.
When my kids were younger and we played, there was one game where it had cherries in it, and the cherries kept falling off the board. It's like, oh, I don't want to play that game. I don't care, And my kids could have perceived, Mom doesn't want to be with me, or Mom doesn't enjoy me, if that game would have gotten in the way.
And as a principal, we're recommending this principle be worked intentionally every day.
Yeah.
So, every day should have a couple moments at least that you are actually enjoying your child. A lot of people say, well, I enjoy them at the dinner table. Well, that can be a great moment of enjoying them, but a lot of families aren't even eating together anymore.
No. Or doing your daughter's hair after a bath at night, or if they're younger, you're giving them baths and you're playing and floating the duck and all those kind of things, or even helping your kids get dressed. There are times that we can naturally insert in our day, I'm enjoying you. You're so cute,
I've seen moms go to soccer games and spend the entire time talking to other moms.
I never.
And they just don't even look out on the field, other than to see where the time is and how soon are we leaving. And that's the opposite of what we're talking about. What we're talking about is if you take your child to a soccer game and they're there playing, they have to be able to look over at the side of that field and see you enjoying them playing this game. And if you're not paying attention, then you're violating this principle.
And the kids know it.
Absolutely. They're hardwired. While they're out on that field or anywhere, Cub Scouts, anywhere, they're hardwired to look to us to see if we're enjoying them.
So one of the things that I learned through this whole mental health process of parenting a child with mental health problems was that at night I had to take account, to review my day and say, did I do the things that I should and have intentionally planned on doing? And if I didn't, then I had to work harder the next day on inserting those tasks. And I think this would be a good place that parents could be reflective. It's like, did I convey to my child that they're an enjoyable, lovable person, or did I tell them how painful they are at parenting them because they won't do their chores?
Once you find ways, I enjoy them. I enjoy watching them play soccer. I enjoy playing the pick up the cherry game. I enjoy this. Once you find that, then it becomes your responsibility as the parent to schedule that into the daily life in some way. You want your child every day to have at least a few experiences of, my mom and dad, they really enjoy being my mom and dad.
So you're saying we can't play the cherry game when they're 3, 5, 7, 12, 15. We may have to change things up as they mature?
Well, it has to. Yeah, it's going to morph over time. Okay, so the way you enjoy your child now, I remember I used to enjoy watching or taking my children to a playground, public playgrounds, and watching them play on the things because they would get so excited. But then I know sometimes it was hot, and like they weren't having any fun, and I wasn't having any fun because I'm not seeing them have any fun. So those were not enjoyable moments. So you had to find ways that needed to be scheduled, and they worked. When they were younger, we played younger games. When they got older, we played older games. It changes. And of course, it needs to be repeatable for as long as it can.
Yeah, it's not. We're not talking Disney World every day.
You can't find new things every single day.
No.
But once you find the things, you repeat them until they don't work anymore. Then you come up with new ways to enjoy each other. Certainly, where we are at right now as empty nesters, we enjoy our children quite differently than we did when they were living at home.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. When we have this conversation, I always think of how Dan Hughes taught us about intersubjective moments of joy. How, having those shared moments of same goals and emotions and all that, how it goes together, and that's one of the building blocks in this.
And because they're shared moments, even bad moments,
Oh, yeah.
in retrospect, when you look back on them, can be shared moments of joy.
Yeah. Yeah, I tell you all the time about with the Christmas trees and in the sales in December, and how we'd get the table ready for lunch, and then all of a sudden we have an influx of customers, and then at least twice we came in and the dogs had eaten our food, and the one time your favorite Basset was standing in the middle of the dining room table, and we're all starving, but there's one we all just laughed. It was just, and then we pitched in and made another lunch. And we talk about those to this day. We had those moments of joy in a very stupid situation.
Camping is a good example of this. Camping is often miserable, and yet in retrospect, is when you talk about sharing those moments of misery and you start to laugh about it, then they become shared moments of joy.
Yeah. The kids walk away with a whole different perception of what the experience was all about.
And of course, another thing to remember about all this is no one gets to be perfect. Lots of things are going to interrupt this. We mentioned exhaustion before, overscheduling of responsibilities. Obviously drugs, alcohol, poverty, all the things that cause stress. Anything that drains us as an individual reduces our ability to enjoy our children and increases the need for us to be intentional in that practice.
Because the priorities get shifted away from the kids into those other things, whether it's working or drugs. I mean, all of those things will take the priorities away from our kids.
And as in all of our principles, this is going to be present in every family. It's just a principle is something that just undergirds and really in some ways defines a family. But it should be noted that children, when you try to parent children with early trauma, this principle here is particularly tough sometimes. They can only tolerate a few minutes of a game, so you're not going to get a whole game in, so you have to learn how to enjoy them for the minutes you have them in the game.
Yeah, I know one mom said she could count on her son for 8 minutes, and if things didn't switch up in 8 minutes, she was going to lose him. There was going to be behaviors.
Yeah. So it has this principle becomes very important when trying to heal early trauma in a family home. But it's a principle for everyone to remember. And we'd encourage you all, ask yourself, or ask yourself this question: what would my kids say? Would my kids say that I enjoy them? That's a very important answer to have in your evaluation of yourself as a parent.
Yes.
Well, this is an introduction to the principle.
That's right. So the next one, catch us on Principle 7, Video 2. When we know that it's not working in that family, it's not happening. All those negative examples. Thanks for watching.
See you then.
Bye.